now we can so before we get into questions, I wanted, so is Suraj there? Suraj, you are there today? Suraj, probably he's not there, I think. Suraj actually has been trying to contact me since a couple of days, but I was actually extremely busy. I could not talk to him. So I wanted to, kind of apologize to him and, beg forgiveness that I could not talk to him, but maybe tomorrow I can talk to him. Yeah. But anyway, yes. So if anybody has questions, you can maybe unmute, speak, and then mute. It is 4:38 right now. I think we can, go on for like some 15 minutes and then maybe we can end. If anybody has any questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Pratik. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. I want to ask that how can we develop love for someone who is doing something wrong, the action-wise or something like this? How can we embrace him?
Very good question. So just to make your question more graphic, and by the way, let me repeat the question. So question Pratik is asking is how can we love somebody who is doing something wrong, right? So let me make the question more explicit and more graphic. Imagine a case of a terrorist. Let's say there is a terrorist who is coming here and who is shooting people. Now, should we love him? So the answer to this question, Pratik, is hate the sin, not the sinner. Right? So we should, certainly we do not approve of the bad actions people may be doing. Point number one. Point number two, we, depending on our relationship with those people, depending on whether we are senior to them, junior to them, equal to them, whether we can approach them or not, we try to bring them to the good path. That is also our love for them. And third, as a person, we still love them because we don't hate the sinner, we hate the sin. So then we honestly pray and try our best that that person comes on the right path, because he is also a child, a son of God, child of God, just that he has lost his path, right? Like that. So if we have that spirit, we can still love. But loving a person does not mean we are approving of all his actions. Does that answer, Pratik?
Yes, sir. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Okay, so Ankur is telling something. Once again, what is Ankur telling? Lord Krishna loved Makhan. Which rasa was there? Oh, okay. Yeah. So since our topic is of love, so Ankur is telling that Lord Krishna loves Makhan a lot. Makhan Chor. That's why he is called. So actually, Krishna is known as butter thief. He is Makhan Chor, and it is not a particular leela. Actually, his entire childhood in Golok Vrindavan Dham, continuously, eternally in Golok Vrindavan Dham, he is performing that leela of stealing butter. And now please note, it's something interesting to see. According to Tattva, according to the facts, Krishna can never steal anything. Why Krishna can never steal anything is because Bhoktaram Yakatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is actually the proprietor of everything. And one who is a proprietor of everything can't steal anything because everything belongs to him. Yet, as a matter of Leela, so that there can be more love exchanged, he steals butter, and he steals not from his home, he steals from his neighbor's home. And you know what happens? The neighbors are also very eager that he should come and steal. That they see as perfection of their life. And that day when he does not come and steal, they feel very sad. And when he steals, then they go and complain to Mother Yashoda. So they are all having a nice, loving this thing going on there. And one thing I would like to say here, which I heard from one Swamiji, which was very, very nice. I must speak that. So Krishna stealing butter also signifies something very, very important for us. Krishna loves white, soft butter. White, soft makhan Krishna loves, and Krishna steals it. Similarly, we want Krishna to steal our heart. That's why he is called Hari. Hari means one who hars, जो हर लेते हैं उसको हरि बोलते हैं. हम चाहते हैं भगवान हमारा हृदय हर लें, मतलब हमारे हृदय में भगवान आ जाएं. करेक्ट? वो कब होगा? जब हमारा हृदय सफेद नरम मक्खन के समान होगा. So when our heart will become soft and white like butter, Krishna as butter thief will come and steal that soft white like butter, white butter like heart. And what does soft mean? Soft means compassion. If you are hard-hearted, Krishna will not steal your heart. If you are soft-hearted, if you have compassion, if you are paradukha dukhi, then Krishna will steal your heart. And white means purity. So if we are pure, if we are not having lust, greed, envy, anger, pride, illusion, these are all dirt in the heart. If the dirt of lust, greed, envy, anger, pride, illusion is not there, and if the compassion is there, right? If that white color and softness is there, then our heart becomes like butter which Krishna comes and steals.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Yes. Suraj, Hare Krishna. I don't know if you were there, but I was just telling everybody that I wanted to say sorry to you. We could not talk, but tomorrow we will talk, Suraj.
I am
No,
Mayank,
it's so
sir.
fine.
Acha, no, Suraj is also there. Okay, Mayank is also. Okay, Suraj, we'll
Sir,
talk
I
tomorrow.
want to ask,
Yeah, Mayank.
sir, I want to ask, sir, in biology, in books, some books it is written that in order to maintain the food web, food chain, we need to be eat others and being eaten by others.
Hmm.
What is that, sir? If
Very good.
it
Very good.
is that,
Yeah, very
tell
good
me.
question, Mayank. So not only in biology, it is actually mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam also. It says Jiva Jivasya Jivanam. Jiva Jivasya Bhojanam or Jivanam, something like that. It is there. Okay. See, somebody is telling. No, what is this? No, what is this? Somebody is sharing screen. Realme 5 Pro screen we are seeing. Anyway,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
Sir, I want to know about this.
1 second. So can we finish Mayank's question first?
Yes, sir.
We'll finish Mayank's question first. So Mayank was telling that in biology or somewhere we have heard about this food cycle that हर किसी ना किसी को खाना है तो ये नॉनवेज नहीं खाने के बारे में हम इसके बारे में कैसे समझ सकते हैं? How do we understand? So I was telling, not only in biology, even in Srimad Bhagavatam it says जीव जीवस्य भोजनम, और जीव जीवस्य जीवनम, something like that, which means एक जीव दूसरे जीव को खाएगा. That is a fact. That is a fact, right? लेकिन कौन सा जीव किसको खाएगा? That we will not decide. Nature will decide, right? जैसे शेर है, टाइगर. टाइगर किसको खाएगा? भैया नेचर ने डिसाइड किया है, डियर को खाएगा. ओके, टाइगर जो नहीं खाएगा नहीं खाएगा, जिसने नेचर ने उसको जो बोला है खाएगा वो खाएगा. ओके, सिमिलरली ऑल एनिमल्स, human beings also, nature has decided what is good for humans, what is not good for humans, what humans can eat and what humans cannot eat, right? And there are many social reasons, there are many economic reasons, there are many biological reasons, there are many environmental reasons, and I can send you detailed links about what researches people are doing all over the world to say that how humans would do a great favor on this earth if they stop killing animals and eat, right? So while it is true that one living entity becomes food for another living entity, which living entity eats which living entity is decided by nature, and if humans follow nature, it will be in best interest of everyone.
Sir, it does not mean that the tiger does not get sin when he eats the other
Oh,
animal.
yeah. Tiger, no. So when a tiger eats a deer, he does not get sin. In fact, the
Why,
concept
sir?
of, because the
The
concept
deer
of,
father also has some emotions related to their child or some their family members which are being eaten. Their emotions and soul
very
will
true.
not curse the tiger.
Very true. But the fact is, we have to understand what are those species, right? So these species, so Krishna has made 84 lakh species of life, like human beings, aquatics, amphibians, reptiles, birds, trees, plants. These are all 84 lakh yoniya bolte hain. 84 lakh species are there. In Padma Puran, it mentions very clearly that there are 4 lakh human beings, there are 10 lakh insects, there are 10 lakh plants. मतलब ऐसा करके detailed description एक verse है. It talks about the details of how these 84 lakhs comes, right? Now, except for human beings, all the other species are there. They are just like मतलब जैसे मान लो आपको 3 साल का सजा हो गया जेल में, ओके, तो आप 3 साल वो जेल में जाके बस 3 साल खत्म हो जाएगा तो आप वापस आ जाओगे. Similarly, a soul, because of its karma, a soul may get a term of, let's say, 2 years in a tiger's body. So for those 2 years when he is in tiger's body, he is just supposed to enjoy or suffer as per whatever a tiger's body dictates, right? Any animal in these species, nobody creates fresh karma. So karma, law of karma is only for human beings. In human body, we create fresh karma, and based on that fresh karma, we either enjoy or suffer. And for that enjoyment or suffering, the various species has been created. Got it?
Yes, sir.
That's how it is.
Sir, Hare Krishna.
Now, how do I know? The question could be, how do I know? By the authority of Guru Sadhu Shastra. I mean, we can't, there are some things which we can't apply too much of our logic on, and that's where we have to follow Shabda Praman, right? Whoever has made tiger, he is telling that. Who has made this whole concept of 84 lakh species, he is telling that. Guru Sadhu Shastra is telling this. And it is very natural also. Even we can observe, right, that human beings are the only species who can break the laws of nature and do something against nature. All the other species typically do things in nature, according to nature. Like dogs, उनका बच्चा पैदा करने का एक सीजन होता है. Human का कोई सीजन नहीं, कभी भी लग जाएगा, चालू हो जाएगा. You see, so डॉग जो खाएगा वही खाएगा, जो नहीं खाएगा नहीं खाएगा. हाथी को आप सामने नॉनवेज रख दो नहीं खाएगा. चाहे वो कितना भी गलत संगति में पड़ जाए. ये सब चीजें एनिमल स्पीशीज के लिए डिफाइंड ही नहीं है, राइट? सो एन एलिफेंट विल नेवर ईट अ डियर. An elephant, will always eat grass only, because elephant is a vegetarian according to nature. So these species, they don't go against nature. They have been programmed like that, and therefore they don't create fresh karma. On the other hand, human beings, Krishna, that's why human being is a very, very special life, wherein we are supposed to be doubly careful. We cannot live life according to just do it. We should think before we act. Because we have been made responsible. We have been given more privileges. We have been given more powers. That's why we are ruling the planet currently, so to say, correct? But the one who is given more power, one who is given more privileges, more responsibility is also given to that person. And if he misuse that responsibility, more and more corona will come. This is nothing. Yes, I think Realme 5 Pro. Realme 5 Pro प्रभु से सुनेंगे अभी क्वेश्चन. चलो शुभम is asking.
सर हरे कृष्णा. सर हरे कृष्णा.
रवि.
हाँ सर.
यस रवि, हरे कृष्णा, बोलिए.
सर कोई भी सर हैबिट होता है सर, वो सडनली सर आता नहीं है किसी के अंदर, धीरे धीरे कल्टिवेट होता है सर.
करेक्ट.
तो सर जब किसी ने सर अगर मीट ईटिंग का हैबिट बना लिया सर,
करेक्ट,
तो वो उसे कैसे ओवरकम करेगा सर?
वेरी गुड.
जैसे पहले तो पता किसी को नहीं था, अब पता चल रहा है कि एक सीन है.
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. कृष्णा सेज इन भगवद गीता, परम दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. जब हमको हायर टेस्ट मिलेगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली लोअर टेस्ट जाएगा. सोचो, मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. मान लो मैं आदिवासी हूँ, अफ्रीका के जंगल में रहता हूँ. मेरा 4-5 जनरेशन से हम उधर ही रहते हैं अफ्रीका के जंगल में, और बचपन से लेके आज तक खाली एक ही चीज देखा है, घास फूस खाने का, बस, और कुछ नहीं, राइट? तो अभी हमको लगता है भाई घास फूस ही खाने का और कुछ नहीं खाने का, राइट? देन वन फाइन डे somebody from America or somebody from India goes to that forest for tourism, and he is carrying some rasgulla, gulab jamun with him, and then this person he thought चलो इसके साथ थोड़ा शेयर करते हैं. So that person shares with me. I am the Adivasi, I am the tribal person, and he shares one rasgulla with me. And when I eat rasgulla, first of all I thought, wait, this may be poison or whatever, but let's say I trust that person, that American or Indian, whoever has come to me, and I eat that rasgulla. After eating that rasgulla, I get such a taste which I have never got before, and then from that point onwards, I'll not eat grass, I will eat only rasgulla. I'll say, give me more, right? So similarly, whenever we have to give up that which we are currently doing, please remember, giving up is not easy. Substituting is easy. Whenever we substitute with something higher, automatically something lower goes away. Another example, you have dirty air in bulb, right? Now you have to fill it with good air. There are two possibilities. Either you first of all take out dirty air and then fill in good air, or you start filling in good air more and more and more and more, and automatically dirty air will come out. First one is impossible because to create vacuum is very difficult. Second one is easy. So the simple answer to your question is, the more we focus on the positive principles of association, books, chanting, and eating Krishna Prasad, gradually, by the power of that positive practice, you will automatically start feeling very, very bad about killing animals and eating them.
Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Yes, Suraj. Hare Krishna.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Suraj.
Network problem है, sir.
हाँ, बोलो.
Hello.
Yeah, Suraj, we can hear you. Suraj.
Hello. Okay, sir. Sir, you are talking about love, sir. But sir, यहाँ love की बात करें क्योंकि एक बहुत हमारा तो एक कृष्ण लव है, sir. वो टाइम के साथ में मतलब डेवलप होगा हमारा. जैसे हम चैंटिंग करेंगे, कृष्णा के बारे में सोचेंगे. But we are in living the society. यहाँ पे सर हम जो रिलेशन बनाते हैं सर, either with our parents or friends, life partner also. Sir, that love should be time demanding. That love should be conditional. That should be kind to the with positivity, only for goodness only. Is that the love, true love, or it is a fake love or time demanding love?
Suraj, your voice broke a little bit in between, but if I have understood your question, is your question that when we are trying to love our family, when we are trying to love our relatives, is that true love? I mean, was that your question? I'm sorry. Can you type your question, Suraj? Because can you type your question, Suraj? Can you type your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm typing, sir.
Okay. You type. Meanwhile, we will take some other question.
हरे कृष्णा सर।
Yes, Realme 5 Pro.
सर संदीप कुमार यादव।
Yes, Hare Krishna Sandeep. बोलिए।
सर मैंने पढ़ा था कि जिसमें दिया था कि युद्ध भूमि में मारे गए मतलब क्षत्रिय स्वर्ग में जाते हैं, और उसी तरह से मतलब यज्ञ में मारे गए वो जानवर वो भी स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति करते हैं। सर इसका मतलब हम समझ नहीं पाए।
So what happens is a soldier who is fighting for his king, right? Let's say in Mahabharat war also, there were so many soldiers who fought from Kaurava's side, right? Now, did they do something wrong or did they do their duty?
Did they do
They
their
did their
duty?
duty, right? So Krishna is very kind. God is very kind. Whatever rules and laws God has made, He has made in such a way that everybody is rewarded according to one's own sincerity. So if there is somebody who is very sincere and very honest, and yet unfortunately he is doing a wrong thing just because he is on the wrong side, and he has no other choice and he is doing it as his duty. So that aspect of doing duty is rewarded, though they also get a punishment of doing something wrong if they had a choice of going from the wrong to right. For example, Vibhishan went from wrong to right. Vibhishan left Raman and went to Ram. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So, so that was good, and Vibhishan could do that. But not everybody can be as powerful as Vibhishan or as influential as Vibhishan, and there may be somebody who may have to helplessly be a part of wrong, right? So then Krishna is very sensitive to such cases, and then whatever good they did because of sticking to their duty, whatever good they did, Krishna rewards them for that good, and that's why they are promoted to higher. Right? They are rewarded like that.
सर
But then,
अनुष्ठान में मारे गए जानवर जो होते हैं वो स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति करते हैं, मतलब जिनका बलिदान दिया जाता है।
हाँ
ये भी लिखा है।
हाँ, तो वो जो अनुष्ठान है ना, पहली बात तो वो कलयुग में it is not allowed. So according to Shastra, there is one shloka which says that these yagyas which used to sacrifice animals are prohibited to be done in Kalyuga, because in Kalyuga we don't have such brahmanas who can give them new bodies. But earlier there were such mantras and such powerful brahmanas that whenever an animal was sacrificed in a yagya, that was actually for the benefit of that animal as well. That animal was getting benefited in the process. And since that is not possible in today's age, therefore Shastras prohibit animal sacrifice in today's age. Now yet so many things are going on in today's age, all that is bogus nonsense.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. In fact, in Kali Puran, it says that जो दुर्गा जी को काली जी को जो बलि चढ़ाते हैं ना बकरी का, तो उसके कान में they are supposed to, the pujari is supposed to chant one mantra in the ears, and that mantra says that, my dear God, I am a rascal number one, I am a fool number one, I don't know anything, I don't know the truth of life, therefore out of my ignorance I am killing you, but please take the liberty and kill me like this in the next life. So those people who are ritualistically doing it, they are gone case. But those people who are doing it with full awareness, they stop it after 5 times. Because they realize what they are doing. And we know such people also. We know such people. कालीघाट में आप जाओगे ना, बंगाल में कालीघाट टेम्पल है, Kali temple. I'm using that as an example because that is very famous for sacrificing animals. Like that. Right, so if we understand the real reason behind why these different things have been prescribed in the Shastras, will really increase in our appreciation for them. That they were like prescriptions कि आप जहाँ भी हो, Shastras don't reject us. जहाँ भी हो, आप अगर class 2 में हो तो आप class 3 में आ जाओ, class 3 में हो तो class 4 में आ जाओ, like that. Shastras don't reject anybody, like that. Okay. So Shivam, no. So who was asking? Okay, one question is, Aman is asking, what is the difference between love and serve? We know that love means to serve. Yeah, exactly. So Aman, this is exactly what we will cover in our next session, in the next half of this presentation. Love without service actually is no meaning at all. It is like, I love, a boy loves a girl, and boy keeps saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, but doesn't do anything for her. Ek gift la ke nahi deta hai usko, So similarly, love without service is only actually cheating, because love is meant for action. So therefore, in that sense, you are right. Actually, there is no difference in one sense. Love and service go hand in hand, like that. But service can be without love. For example, I may be doing a job in my company, and that is my service to the company, but it's without love. I'm just doing it because I'm getting money, right? Love cannot be without service. Actual real love cannot be without service, but service can be without love. So in that sense, they are not identical, but in what we are trying to say, they go hand in hand. Love and service go hand in hand. Prem or sneh? Shivam is asking, what is the difference between prem and sneh? Actually, sneh is affection, prem is love. And let me talk about one more thing called moh. तीन चीजें होती है शिवम, तीन होता है, एक होता है प्रेम, एक होता है मोह और एक होता है स्नेह. ओके, प्रेम मतलब लव, मोह मतलब अटैचमेंट और स्नेह मतलब अफेक्शन. तो अफेक्शन और लव टू अ लार्ज एक्सटेंट इज सिमिलर. प्रेम और स्नेह जो है ना, टू अ लार्ज एक्सटेंट इट इज सिमिलर. ओके, लव एंड अफेक्शन. However, moh or attachment is different. That is wrong. That is bad. That is not to be done. What it means is you are so attached. Let's say you are a father or you are a mother, right? A father or a mother. Let me discuss two cases. So first of all, I'm saying prem or sneh is same thing only. Love and affection you see to be the same thing, right? But I'm going to contrast it with moh or attachment, right? So case one, parents love their child. Case two, parents are attached to their child. In case one, they would do what is good for the child. In case two, they will do what is good for them. In case one, they will try to bind the child more and more. In case two, they will try to free the child more and more. In case one, they will make child dependent on them. In case two, they will make child more and more independent and more somebody who can take his own decisions. And there are so many other things also. We will get into that once you become a parent. Sir, our love, Suraj is now asking question. Sir, our love should be time demanding, conditional with people we are in relation, and we should give right to other, like our parents to judge or take decision for our relation. Like I want to enjoy with a friend, they are also like my family, but my parents don't like to. They have nothing to do with it, but I know that person. Oh, I see. So Suraj is telling that should we always obey our parents when it comes to our own relationships as well, right? For example, I may have a relationship with my friend, and my parents may be saying that, Suraj, कल से अगर तुमने उसके साथ सब खत्म नहीं किया तो हमारा मुंह नहीं देखना तुम, something like that, whatever, so parents may want to dominate over us regarding certain decisions, right? So here, this is a very good question, and this we have to deal with very, very carefully, Suraj. So first of all, we have to understand the particular case in picture. However, since I am speaking generally, let me talk about a few things here which are very important. Point number one, हमको एक बात कभी नहीं भूलनी चाहिए कि parents are our elders and they are our well-wishers, right? At least we should assume that. You can't assume that your parents are demons, they are like Hiranyakashipu. No. Our normal assumption should be that our parents, they are our elders, they are wiser than us, and they are our well-wishers. That's our first assumption. Second, therefore, whatever they are saying, whatever they are suggesting, we should really evaluate it and we should assess it. We should give benefit of doubt to them. In English, there is a saying called benefit of doubt. Okay, Suraj is not able. So maybe if let me complete this answer for benefit of everyone, and then we can talk separately on phone. Okay, anyway, so number one, I was telling that parents are our elders, well-wishers, they are wiser than us. Therefore, second point I'm saying is we should give benefit of doubt to them. Whenever they are suggesting something, we should think really, really thoroughly about what they are suggesting and why they are doing so. And if at all we feel that no, we disagree, best would be to discuss with them, and to actually make them understand that, see, parents, you are saying like this, but I feel it is like this, so am I going wrong, or are you not able to see something, so with discussion, it may come out that who is actually thinking wrong. And then finally, point number three, if there is something which you feel is good according to Guru Sadhu Shastra, then even if your parents are saying you to do something against, you can disobey your parents, but you can't disrespect your parents. So there are 3 points. Okay. Because, my father may ask me to smoke a cigarette, so first I'll give benefit of doubt to him that, oh, bol rahe hain to shayad kuch acha hoga. Then I will discuss with him. I'll see, there are a lot of all negative points of smoking cigarette, and Guru Sadhu Shastra is also not telling that, and he is not agreeing to it. He is still saying that I should smoke cigarette. Then point number 3, I'll say, thank you very much, Hare Krishna. I will continue to respect my father, but I will disobey him, like that. But normally we don't have such extreme situations in India. I mean, normally they are telling good things for us, like that. So therefore, we have to evaluate very, very carefully. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other question? Or I think we should end now because it's already 5:02. We have already crossed 5, right? So I think we will end. Okay, maybe just one last question. Let me take this because it is on chat already. Kamal, Kamal has asked this question, sir, why silent meditation is not beneficial? In older ages, sages were doing silent meditation. Yeah, but today is not older ages. So, Kamal, just to answer your question, so Shastras say that in every yuga, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, there is a different method to be practiced. There is a different medicine which is to be taken, right? So in this age of Kali Yuga, the medicine which has to be taken is to chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So first of all, we have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now the question can be that should we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra silently or should we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly? So the answer is that if you chant silently, आपका mind आपका पोपट बनाकर आपको डिब्बा में कब डाल देगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, you know. So Arjuna 5,000 years back in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling that mind is so difficult to control. Imagine 5,000 years back, a person like Arjun is telling that he cannot control mind and he cannot practice silent meditation. Here we are 5,000 years later when the situation is much more difficult and when people like you and me are much less capable than Arjun, you know. So silent meditation is something which we'll only end up cheating ourselves. On the other hand, when we chant Hare Krishna and when we hear the sound vibration, when we hear the sound vibration from our mouth to ears outside like this, right, then we are bypassing the mind. We are bypassing the mind and we are letting the power of sound vibration work on us. And because of the power of sound vibration, that real magic happens. And there is one more benefit of chanting loudly. जो आसपास चींटी, पेड़ पौधे, कीड़े मकोड़े, छिपकली, सांप बिच्छू, मेरे घर में सांप बिच्छू नहीं है, but whatever, so all those also are getting benefited when we are saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, Kamal. So I think we should end here now. Thank you very much. I want to congratulate all of you who have won some prizes, and as such in spiritual world, in path of spirituality, everybody is a winner, and therefore I'm sure everybody is going to get some prize. And Let's Evolve has arranged for some online delivery of gifts at your doorstep. So it will be a good surprise for all of you. Thank you very much. See you next time, same place, same channel, same time. Hare Krishna.